Read all about it. Get your copies while they last. Stop the presses.
And now for something completely different.
Are you ready for a little truth? Are we not entertained? Wisdom is the proper use of knowledge and experience. There are no safe spaces here. The truth shall make you free. It's showtime! So you want the truth, but can you handle the truth? Well, here's another fine mess you've gotten us into. Now that's entertainment. Enlighten me a little. What you say is quite logical. And what did we learn? Prepare yourself for a little sensory overload. I came here for the truth. 7 years ago, stand by the roll show intro. Roll show intro in 3, 2, 1, go.
This is the Craig L. Hayes Show.
Hello, America, family, friends, and listeners all around this planet we call home. This is the Craig L. Hayes Show, and I am Craig L. Hayes. Today's date is June 5th, 2024, and today's subject matter is going to be the Second Amendment to the Constitution of the United States. Something we have to remember is the Bill of Rights, which is part the Second Amendment is part of. There were 10 original amendments to the Constitution after the original Constitution had been ratified. The Bill of Rights came somewhat later and were ratified by both houses of Congress and sent out to the states to be ratified. There were 12 original amendments to the Constitution, but only 10 of them were ratified, and one of them was actually ratified in 1994 or 5, somewhere in there. So 11 of the 12 actually got ratified. Now, the Second Amendment, we would read it all the way through. It is an amendment that has been disparaged by those who despise constitutional freedoms and liberty, and it's being promoted by those who love their guns, such as myself. It says, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Boom. Very simple. Now in 1789, 90, 91, and there where this was being ratified and worked out, it made perfect sense to them. It's just people today find all kinds of reasons to pick it apart and try to infringe, the last word in this, infringe on your gun rights. Let's look at it one line at a time. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. What is the militia? Well, the Founding Fathers said something very simple about what is a militia. When asked, they said, who is the militia? And they basically said, if I remember correctly, we all are members of the militia. Every citizen in the country is part of the militia. Now, well-regulated, what does that mean? That means they can't go off crazy and do their own thing and overthrow governments, overthrow the state government, any other form of government. Their job is to be under the control or the administration of, let's say, a mayor of a state, a sheriff, if they're needed, a governor even. And if necessary, the militias can be called up as part of the National Guard or regular army. We can all be thrown into the battle if it's necessary. We are all the militia. Now, there are crazy ones out there that hide behind the word militia and believe that they have the right to take and cause problems, be disturbing, and such like that. Well, that's their interpretation. I disagree wholeheartedly with it. You can't have just people going off and doing their own little thing and causing problems. Now, if times were to go really bad and things were to be necessary for militias to be organized, let's say in a small town, and you need to have your militia on patrol to make sure that outside or problematic people within a community are dealt with quickly and brought to justice. Every community may have to come up with their own idea on how to regulate the militia. A county may have to come up with a way to regulate the militia, and the sheriff may have to have direction given to those, may have to give, direction to those militias as what they're needed to do. They are needed for and where. Being necessary for a free state. Guns in the hands of citizens. Let's read it the way I look at it. A well-regulated citizenry with guns is necessary to a free state. But how do they have guns if we are not allowed to have them? The next part says, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. We all have the right to have a gun, regardless what states say. States actually do not have the right, nor communities have the right to tell you can or cannot carry a firearm. The right to keep and bear arms. To keep means to have them, to own them. Bear means to have them on you. Doesn't mean just to have them sticking in your closet or in a safe vault or with locks on them or whatever. Each person, once again, has to decide how to keep their firearms safe in their homes. Maximum liberty, maximum responsibility. That's what the Constitution is for. Maximum liberty, maximum responsibility. And the last part, shall not be infringed. Not it shouldn't be unless you really need to, or if you're scared of a gun, or if you're afraid that people with guns are scary and they might make you nervous and you want to hide in your house. The solution to that is have your own guns. Protect yourself. Protect your family. Not to take and infringe on other people's rights to have them. I have a lot of friends that are liberals. They're Democrats. Some of them like guns. Some of them don't. The ones that don't like guns, their attitude is this. I don't like guns, but I'm not going to tell you you shouldn't have one. That is the correct attitude. In the early days of our founding and such, many states had laws that you had to have X amount of guns, X amount of shot, X amount of powder for those guns. Everybody was supposed to be armed. Why? Because these people had just fought the British and won their independence from a overreaching government. The King of England and his government were overreaching and infringing on the rights, God-given rights, of the people of the United States. They used their guns, their arms, their weapons to take and defeat the most powerful military in the world. Second Amendment is the strength and the force and the power behind the First Amendment. It's got its back, as we may say. How pro Second Amendment am I? Okay. My opinion on that is very simple. Any weapon system that our military or police have, the citizens should have the right to have that themselves. Oh, Craig, do you think people should have fully automatic weapons? Absolutely. Maximum liberty, maximum responsibility. If you act up with that, and you do something wrong, you deserve to be punished to the maximum of the law. But you should still have the same weaponry as anybody in your service. And remember, the military, the police, first responders are your servants. So you're trying to tell me that we should pay for all of these weapon systems and these far out guns and such, but we're not allowed to have them? No, I think not. I think that this needs to be discussed even more about this, and I think any law in the book that says people can't have certain guns because government doesn't want them to should be erased, thrown out. And if we had a true constitutionally minded Supreme Court, they would have thrown out all these laws that took the rights of the people away from them as far as their gun rights go. The Second Amendment is not just a toy. You don't have to have a license to have a gun. You don't have to have a permit to carry it on you. You don't have to have any of those things. Show me in our Constitution where it says that. It does not. It says shall not be infringed. So any gun laws by states, cities, counties that tell you you're not allowed to carry a gun is violating your rights to your Second Amendment. It's just that simple. Now, can you carry a gun on private property, someone else's private property? If they allow you to, yes. Once again, your rights end where someone else's rights begin. It may not make people happy. It may make people upset. Should we allow people to have guns inside courtrooms? Absolutely not. I have seen so many videos on people who get so wrapped up and emotionally charged and upset because one of their loved ones been injured or killed by some criminal, and they start a fight and they jump across the whatever you want to call it, the guardrail, and they start attacking the person that killed their family member. Do we need to have a shootout in that instance? No. That just would be total chaos inside that room. So some laws in some instances will make total sense. Not ones that tell you can or cannot carry a gun. Not ones that tell you what kind of guns you can handle. Well, Craig, does that mean you should be able to buy an M1A1 Abrams tank? Absolutely. If I could afford the $20,000 or whatever dollars or whatever it is to shoot the tank, it should be my right to have one. I pay for it. I should have one if I want one. What about a jet airplane? Well, I don't know how to fly, number one, but sure, why not? If I could afford one, if I was a billionaire and I could afford what do those planes cost now? $100 million, fighter planes, the F-22s and such. If I could afford one, sure, I should be allowed to have one. Maybe the only thing that would stop me from being allowed to have one is the advanced technologies and avionics within one of those things. Of course, we don't want that falling into the hands of our enemies, even though it seems like this government, under the administration that's in right now, would gladly give it to Iran or China or anybody else as long as they got some money for it, or they got some friendship for it, or their family members made something. Am I talking trash about this administration right now in 2024? Yes, absolutely I am. They are traitors. They are corrupt and they're criminals. But that's not part of this conversation. That one will be one we'll have later. The one we're having right now is on the Second Amendment. So anyways, that's my thoughts on the Second Amendment. And once again, you can sit there and say, yeah, I agree with you, or I think you're a lunatic. I don't care either way. My First Amendment is to say exactly what I'm saying and broadcast it out here, and people listen to it, and they can always just go to another channel and listen to someone else. That would be fine too. I am a constitutional conservative libertarian. Put that one together now. I believe in sustaining, protecting, and defending the Constitution of the United States with everything we have, including our lives. And I am a libertarian because I want those rights protected, and I want to exercise every one of my rights that I have without government interference or control. That's the libertarian side. And yes, I am willing to pay the ultimate prices for any violations on those rights. So, anyways, this is the second podcast that I have done, and I'm trying to get better at it. Give me a little time. Stick with me if you've been listening to me a little bit and you find me a little bit choppy and stuff. I apologize. I will get better. It's like anything else. You got to practice, 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 and then practice some more. In show business, we call it rehearse. You rehearse, and then rehearse some more until you get it down to where you're smooth and you're good at it and you know exactly what you're doing. That's what I'm doing right now, and that's why I'm using the Constitution as my guideline right now. It's something I hold dear and something I want to see protected and defended, and I want my rights and my liberties protected and defended by a government, not infringed on by this government or any government. So that's the end of this podcast. I want everyone to know how much I appreciate anybody listening to it, and tell a friend. And I would like to leave you with this. Once you've listened to it, I'd like you to think and then pass it on. And that is it for the Craig L. Hayes Show.